Hey y'all, it's Nadia. And yes, I am back again. We're in week 2, titled Silence as Survival. Yesterday we talked about the phrase that many of us grew up hearing. You know the phrase, what goes on in this house stays in this house. I know you heard it before. Stop acting crazy. And today we're going deeper into what that shit created. A rule that shaped a lot of us. Don't tell. That's the clean version anyway. The real rule is don't you tell my motherfucking business. You hear me? So I learned early not to share too much, not to tell family business, not to speak on certain shit, and most importantly, not to expose what happened inside our house. Some was subtle, some was very direct, but that message, baby, that message was very fucking clear. Keep it in, handle that shit yourself. Don't make things bigger than they have to be or than they are. Don't bring outside attention to inside matters. And when you grow up hearing that shit on the regular, you start editing yourself. You start filtering what you say without even knowing you fucking doing it. You start deciding what's safe to share, and then you start keeping more and more inside. Trust me, I did it. Been there, done that shit. Until silence becomes normal. You feel me? When you're taught not to tell, you don't stop feeling. Hell no. You just stop expressing shit. So if something hurt, you handle that shit internally. If something confused you, you process that shit alone. And if something made you uncomfortable, you kept that shit to yourself. Not because you didn't need support, but because you didn't feel safe seeking it. And you ain't gonna have to fuck a bitch up for sharing your business that you share with them. After a while, you stop even thinking about telling anyone. Why? Why would I? You just deal with things quietly and keep it fucking moving. Because that's what you learned anyway, right? Okay. One of the things that comes from that conditioning is learning to handle your shit alone. You don't ask for help easily. You don't vent easily. You don't express vulnerability easily or at all in most matters. You become self contained. People might see you as strong, independent, private, low maintenance. But what they don't fucking see is how much you're carrying internally and how heavy that shit is and how you processing it. Because you've learned to process pain silently. You've learned to move through things quietly. You've learned to survive without expressing shit in public. And after a while, it becomes second nature. What feelings? What emotions? Over time, I became very self contained. I handle my emotions internally. I handle my confusion internally. I handle my disappointment internally. I didn't always look for someone to sit with me in my shit. I didn't always express what I needed. I didn't always say when something fucking hurt. Because why? You know what the fuck you did. Because somewhere in my mind, telling felt uncomfortable. Telling felt unnecessary. Telling felt like breaking a fucking rule. So I adapted. I learned how to carry things without showing them. And when you carry shit long enough, it just becomes your way of life. And then people start thinking you're crazy and deranged. If I have to be. Here's what I'm realizing now though. When silence is taught early, it becomes normal later. You don't realize you're holding shit in. You don't realize you're processing shit alone. And you don't realize you're suppressing emotions because emotions, what are those? It just feels like you're handling life. So even in adulthood, you might go through things quietly. Even in relationships, you might internalize shit more than you express. Even when you need support, you might hesitate to reach for it because you've learned early to suffer quietly. I'ma get it on my own. When you grow up being taught not to tell, you become an adult who struggles to open up real big. You might handle pain privately instead of sharing it, process emotions internally instead of expressing them, tolerate things longer than you should, did, because you're used to dealing with shit alone. Appear strong on the outside while carrying a fucking shitload on the inside. And people may never know how much you're holding because you've mastered the art of quiet survival. Now, as an adult, I'm learning something new. Expression is not betrayal. Vulnerability is not weakness. Asking for support is not burdening people. It's healthy. It's necessary. It's part of healing. Because when you spend years keeping everything inside, learning to express can feel unfamiliar at first, like shit. But it's freeing too. To be able to say, that shit hurt, that shit confused me, that shit affected me without feeling you're breaking a rule. Hmm. When you're taught not to tell, you learn to suffer quietly. You learn to carry shit internally, process shit privately, handle shit alone. But healing requires a different kind of honesty. Not oversharing, not blaming, not acknowledging what you felt, what you carried, what you learned. This is week 2, silence as survival. And tomorrow, I'll talk about another rule many of us grew up with. Don't cry. That shit is weakness. Stay with me.